So in this episode, we're going to be looking at layering landscapes with gouache. I've made a template which made my life a lot easier to make my squares the exact same size. I made my template 4 by 4 inches. If you have masking tape, please do the same, as this allows your edges to be nice and clean. So first of all, we're going to look at complementary colours, purple and yellow. We're going to make the same landscape sitting side by side. So purple on the left and yellow on the right. So I begin by putting a pretty opaque, a light opaque background in, like a watery background. And I put in my background layer first. Use a hairdryer to make it nice and dry. I add the midground next. I get a small paintbrush to add the detail of some far away looking trees. And in the foreground, I paint some pine trees just to show that there's distance. So in the background's lighter, showing that it's further away. So now purple, the contrasting color, the complementary color to purple is yellow. As you can see, I made my background layer too dark, and then my middle ground is also dark. So then in the foreground, I've had to add a yellow-orange for the trees. But it still seems to work. I added a little bit more darkness in the midground, a bit more definition. So complementary colours sit directly from each other on the colour wheel. So for example, yellow and purple. Complementary colours, when mixed together, make them dull and can create brown. So if you want your yellow to be a bit more dull or darker, but you don't want to add black, you would actually add purple to it to make it a little bit more dull and darker. Now the next one we're going to look at is the comparison of materials, gouache versus watercolour. It's the same deal. We're going to make the same landscape. So watch carefully as you will do this same composition, and you are going to be using complementary colours of your own choice as well. So it's important that we're seeing the repetition so that you have an understanding of what to do. So I've added my gouache composition on the left. This one is a watercolour version, which I just wanted to show you the difference, just so you have an understanding that gouache isn't quite watercolour, even though we might think it feels like it. You can see the difference quite well. Gouache is murkier, more blotchy, and the watercolour is smooth and vibrant. So the next one we're going to look at is gouache in its opaque state, so when it's solid. And this is probably how it's supposed to be used. So as you can see, I've added white paint instead of water just to get the colour that I want. So it's good for graphics. Gouache. So in summary, complementary colours sat near each other can create vibrancy. Complementary colours, when mixed together, make them dull and can create a brown. Using gouache as a watercolour isn't quite its real strength, as gouache doesn't layer well when it's been thinned out with water. We saw that watercolour is probably best for low opaque layers, and gouache is better for more opaque, like a solid painting. So treat gouache like a liquid acrylic, as it still needs a little bit of water. So your task is to look at your colour wheel. I want you to choose any complementary colour scheme. So this could be red, purple, yellow, green. It doesn't just have to be purple and yellow. And I want you to make your own 2 mini landscapes just like so. And then I'd like you to share it with